Hello, hello. This is Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group. I am your organizational development psychologist, along with your business and executive wellness coach. I wanted to come on here. I'm actually watching the time. Um, I wanted to come on here really quick. I didn't get on here earlier today. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't get on here earlier today. I still wasn't in the best place, but I wanted to get on here. I have some new teeth things going on here, but I wanted to get on here and really share something with you guys. And the title of this is, when things go downhill, when it goes all the way downhill. And the reason why I say downhill is because I shared this with a good friend of mine. She's actually in one of my therapist colleagues and had to vent and like put things in a perspective. And it was something that another friend had also said to me, as far as like looking at how things happen for a reason, putting it into perspective and things like that. And what I came away with it is to get on here and make sure that I let you guys know that there are times when you're on your wellness journey, whether it's as a leader, as a people leader, executive, business owner, regardless of what title you subscribe to or prefer to be referenced to. And I want to try to figure out a way to make this story shorter than it actually is. So I'll just jump to the chase. And it's how basically I can't recall maybe 2 or 3 years out of my career total of like 15, 16 years now that I didn't experience discrimination. Again, the reason why I'm coming on here to talk about this is because I had a very visceral response to being triggered while I was actually in the midst of a hearing in regards to a active, well, it's no longer active, but a EEO, what is it called? EEO case. Either way, it was a formal case. I was going before this committee that the judge had assigned to try to settle this particular case. And to spare you guys the details, the whole point of it is, and it's like I'm still actually feeling the heaviness from re-experiencing this, but there is such thing as developing PTSD after being consistently traumatized from discriminatory behaviors, whether it was overt, whether it was undercover, sort of your, what's the term? I'm blocking because I'm literally still trying to pull it together, but your unconscious bias, that's the word I was looking for. Unconscious bias, all these different terms that we've associated with it, gaslighting, that's the craze word to use these days. But I really think of wellness from this space of when we take control of what's going on with us. But then I want to really focus my little moment here on when things all go downhill and you really don't have control yourself. And those are situations where you may be in a place like in your job, your career, where you can't really step away. You can't really say, "Oh, I'm being discriminated against, so I'm gonna go somewhere else." But it's really hard when you are trying to prove. I just realized my microphone wasn't attached, so I apologize if the sound is a little off. But let me try to hook this up really quick. Sorry, y'all. Yeah. So I literally was triggered. I'm sitting here trying to prove that I was discriminated against by a meeting with two people over the phone that you can't see. But just from having like spoken with them and things like that, it's like they really have a disconnect. I don't know what their nationality was, their race or anything. I really don't know. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I can tell by their name that they're white or they're not black. Like, I don't know. I really don't. I've never seen them before in my life. However, there was a complete disconnect because there was this condescending tone. There was this level of nasty, this level of perpetuated cynicism in regards to what I had experienced for a large portion of my career in a particular location where, yeah, I have shared in small circles of how I was told that I was a help. I was told that I should have, even sexism, ageism. I should have considered what having a kid at this stage in my career would do on the trajectory of how far I would go and things like that as an excuse. So many things. Oh, you on so and so's hit list for no reason. No reason other than I was speaking up when I wasn't getting paid for my work. So again, I just want you guys to know from a different perspective from what I usually come on here and give like tips and tools and, situations to talk about wellness in the role that you're in. And I want you also to remember that wellness is also about healing from trauma, healing from wounds that you've never had time to address, that you never knew how to address. I want to encourage you guys. Again, I haven't said anything so overtly about it being Mental Health Month because I like talking about mental health all the time. And I like talking about mental health all the time because it's something that I battle with. It's something that a lot of leaders battle with, and they don't talk about it. They don't speak up and say, hey, the history that I have of being discriminated against has impacted me in X, Y, and Z way. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't reveal that piece because of different reasons. Some people, it's just like, hey, it's none of your business. Hey, it's something I don't want to deal with. Or even it's like, hey, when it's all said and done, I feel you're going to use it against me. Whatever the case may be, it may be other situations that were not mentioned here. But I just want you to realize that it's not always about, oh, I can take control and I can prevent X, Y, and Z from happening, because I literally had a visceral response to how they were speaking to me. And I got to the point, like I said, the name of this is when it all goes downhill. When it goes downhill, I got to the point where I mustered up the little bit of energy that I had because I was using so much not to cry, not to just talk over and bulldoze my way through the conversation. But with everything in me, I really pulled it together and said, you know what? This is what you're not going to do. We are here to discuss discrimination allegations against me. So you may want to watch the way that you talk to me, because you're talking to me in a very condescending way. And yes, you're absolutely correct. I am a doctor. I am intelligent. I am knowledgeable. However, I am not an attorney. Okay. I'm also not litigious, as you can see that I am here on my own accord. Yes, I could have if I felt that it was necessary. I don't want to go through the gauntlet. I want to be done with this. I want this to be where you right, you're wrong. I'm not someone trying to beat the system. It's just when things go downhill, you want to be able to still be in the space where you can regulate your emotions and say and have statements made to make it very clear that enough is enough. We talk about crucial conversations when we're talking about leadership trainings and emotional intelligence and things like that. And I knew that in that moment, it took some for real skills for me to, again, not go off. I don't know what going off would have been. All I know was once I ended the call, I had a very difficult time calming myself down, stopping myself from crying out of anger, out of disgust, out of, all of those emotions that you can imagine comes up when you feel that you're being triggered from something that is a trauma that you're still trying to heal from, but yet it's hard to heal because here we are 3-4 years later after a series of events and we're still talking about it, right? It's hard to move past it when it's still in front of you. But when it all goes downhill, this is where we activate what we've been working on when we have been talking about, emotional intelligence, like I mentioned, when we've been talking about managing your emotion, doing self checks, managing the thought process, not going down those rabbit holes, checking yourself, using things, different coping skills, connections with people to help yourself. These are just all different things. And like I said, I don't have the energy that I need to have. I actually just realized that I didn't take off the calendar an evening client that I have. And I only remembered once I realized what time it was that she wasn't going to make it. Was that because I just forgot to take her off the schedule because she had told me in advance? But I just want you guys to think about that. When I do get on here, I always am speaking from a place of how can you do better? How can you live better? How can you have a different perspective? And it's really because when things like this happen, this is when it matters. You may think everything's going fine, or at least, you're handling things in a good way. You just want to make sure. Make sure that you are practicing these skills daily, that you are taking time with yourself to breathe, to meditate, to pray, to ground yourself. Because then when these things come where you're being triggered, some of you may not even know why you're being triggered, that you want to be able to still rise from it, speak your piece in a respectful way, regardless of how you're being spoken to, and know that this is a life experience. It may not necessarily be discrimination. It may just be someone being very disrespectful to you. Whatever the case may be, you want to be able to speak up, and that is a part of establishing and maintaining boundaries. So when it all goes downhill, dig your feet in, stand your ground, and know what you need to do to protect yourself, and also hopefully enlighten others and how to be more aware of how they treat people. Everybody's still going through a very rough time, still going through a very, very real adjustment to the way things are right now in the world. Like, are we open? Are we closed? What are we doing? Do we wear masks? I don't know. Anyway, just stick with it. Stick with whatever you plan you have. If you don't have one, get one, okay? I know I've been on here longer than I should have, so I'm now quickly speaking to get off and say you guys have an amazing, safe, and blessed evening. Dr. Shanae Taran, SP Consulting Group. I'm your organizational development psychologist and your licensed therapist, business and executive wellness coach, who is also needing to stay well in my leadership journey as well. So I hope you do the same. Take care. See you next time.